anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell it like it is, and that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it's always going to be. As long as I'm in the position I'm in, I'm going to always tell it like it is. I'm going to give it to you straight up, and and if you don't like it, go on to something else. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, well, Barry, stay true to yourself. Stay positive, my man. Hey, let's just keep doing what we're doing. People appreciate it. We have thousands of downloads. People listen to our broadcast. People know who you are. People know you, Professor, know you, Coach. Some people even know me for some reason. I don't know. But but the thing is, I'm a fan, and I will always remain a fan. I will remain true to myself, true to New Orleans Saints as a fan, but I don't appreciate the fact, and I've never said this openly as well, but I don't appreciate the fact that the New Orleans Saints communication department purposefully withheld press credentials to people who photographed their team and someone who reported on their team because they had an association with the Saints News Radio Network. And that's the fact, Jack. And it happened, and it wasn't until those people decided to disavow their association with us or break their association with us until they will restore their press credentials.
Mm-hmm.
That is really a sad testament for people. You would think you would need to reach out to the community and reach out to people like us. You have not only us, you have Big T, Nader, and those guys. You have, I don't even know these guys on the Chronic with this Canal Street Chronicles guys. They have a podcast. You have a couple. You have your boy that's with you. He has a new podcast. Barry, you know what I'm talking about. You have people who are doing you a favor by being able to promote this team and be able to talk about the team. And you know, why aren't you looking at the people who are doing this, and we're not asking for anything but give us a little love every now and then. Give us a little respect, you know, and if we're getting thousands of people listening to these broadcasts and podcasts, and that shows you that there is power in what we're doing, and we've got to stand together, guys. You know, and I'm opening up to all of our guys who have podcasts and support the New Orleans Saints and write for the Saints or write the blogs or whatever. Let's stand together. Let's stand true. And let's kind of work together to fight the system, what's happening in that front office. Because they need to be woken up, and people need to be made aware of what's going on in the New Orleans Saints front office against people like myself and the rest of the Saints News Radio crew, other than Coach. Coach, you know, you're good with them. So anyway.
Well, there's no telling how that'll last, because they have a tendency. They sometimes they do things just because they can, and the areas that even if you're there, you're restricted to, and what you can do or can't do. They try to keep it very tight rein because they can. In fact, there's several instances you're better off going in with the fans because you could get better access than if you heard it around in the press area. And that's why once the season starts, I mean, I'll go during their practices, but once the season starts, you know, I depend on their games and NFL Game Pass and the like to do my study, because as much as I appreciate being able to go see them practice and how much fun it is for me to go to practice without having to scream at anybody, That's not where I get the bulk of my information.
Yeah. It's sad, and I think they really have to do a better job in their outreach. I don't know if Mr. Benson, Loomis, or whomever is aware of what's going on within our own communication department. It's not their communications department. I think it's a travesty on how
I can tell you this much.
Media.
If Tom Benson or Gail Benson knew what goes on underneath their nose, I think they'd be appalled, because I guarantee you Tom Benson, as a New Orleans native and as the most down-to-earth guy he ever met for a billionaire, I guarantee you, if I knew the man, if I had a chance just to talk 2 minutes to the man, I bet you I'd get press credentials, because I would tell him exactly what's going on. I can almost guarantee you he's clueless. I guarantee he has no idea, no concept of how things are run. And he doesn't, and he shouldn't have to. He's an 89-year-old billionaire, but he's got guys underneath him that, and as Coach alluded to, they do it because they can do it. It comes with the territory. It's very there's a lot of politics involved. Our good friend Scott Alexander of Primetime Sports has told me as much, that there's a lot of politics, and Coach probably can speak to it a little bit of that too. There's a lot of politics that goes on behind the scenes as far as certain organizations, and I'm talking about maybe a NOLA.com or definitely the national ones like ESPN for sure, and Sports Illustrated, places like that, Fox Sports. That's always going to get a little more favoritism over a Big Easy Believer or a Canal Street Chronicles or Saints Nation or whoever, Saints News Network even.
Barry,
it's just politics.
Look, Barry, and I can understand politics. I know how to play the game, but politics is one thing. But you have people really doing you a service by telling people and giving people different perspectives on what's happening with the organization. And believe it or not, a lot of people depend on what they hear from Big Easy Believer or the tweets that and the postings that we get from Sports NOLA and saintsnews.net as well. They depend upon this, and it's a reason why we have as many followers, as many people who really respect what we're doing and being able to give them as much news about the team as possible. Because I've noticed, because they have even changed their own department because of guys like us. They brought in.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Hal.
Yeah, they brought in. What's the guy from the Picayune a couple years ago to be able to, be their inside guy to do videos and stuff for them. Well, we were doing videos, and other people were doing videos. They weren't doing anything. They were sitting on their rusty dusties, and go ahead.
What's happening is, and this is a note to all the listeners with any and everything, including this upcoming election and everything we got going on. Alternative media is replacing mainstream media, because mainstream media is owned by corporations that control and direct them on what to do and what to say. And so for people to find the truth, that's why they're coming to Saints News Radio, Big Easy Believe, and all of the different places, because they're not getting the truth. Those forms of media sometimes have allowed to be manipulation, and you're finding people now are starting to migrate with the evolution of the internet. You have people that, and of course there's some people that are out there that are just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You have to be careful which alternative media you go to, but people are now looking for the truth. And when it comes to reporting on the Saints, in terms of giving people the facts and the truth, that's all we do. We don't tear down anybody. We don't go into their personal lives, any of that kind of stuff. And so because now people are hungry for the truth, that's why you see alternative media in all forms of facets is now beginning to take off. Yeah.
And my last thing, I'm sorry this turned into a session that is not very positive, but they also blackballed us from interviewing some of the Saints players, and that was reported to me by a couple of PR people. So anyway, okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you as usual, Coach. I hope we don't get you in trouble by saying what we said.
Yeah, I got to watch who I'm hanging around with. You guys are killing me.
Yeah, a bunch of renegades. That's what we are, Bunch of renegades.
I didn't realize I was hanging around such subversives.
Yeah. Look, subversives, and I think we've been called some other stuff. But anyway, thank you. Saints News is going to be back on the air. Professor, he's going to have his show on Friday night with Brandon.
No, not this Friday. Saints play Saturday. I'll do something after the game.
Okay, all right. There you go. And Barry, how can the people follow you?
They can follow me on Twitter at HarrihanHoudat, or they can follow me, of course, at BigEasyBeliever.com.
Coach, how can the people follow you?
At Rick Gailey on Facebook and Twitter, and at SportsNola.com, and the Three Tailgaters Show on Saturday morning from 10 to 12, WGSO 990 AM and WGSO.com.
Awesome. I love the Three Tailgaters. And guys, you don't forget, you can listen to them on their WGSO app, right?
Yes, and that's exactly right. Yeah. And the TuneIn app. The TuneIn app is a tremendous app for getting radio stations throughout the country, and that's the app that you can get WGSO and many other stations, by the way. And one other thing, Monday from 6 to 7, I'll be sitting in for Ken Trahan with his All Access show on WGSO from 6 to 7 on Monday.
Be sure to call in to
Yes, please do. We had a good one last time, didn't we?
Yes, we did. That was pretty cool. I appreciate you giving me some air time.
I'll try to make you more legitimate if I possibly can.
Look, man.
There you go. That's
Please,
right.
Too legit.
There you go, man.
Hey, this is the third one. This is it. Too legit to quit. Too legit. All right. Okay, and we are also on TuneIn. I forgot to tell people that, and we also are applying to iHeartRadio, so you may be able to start finding our podcast on iHeartRadio, as well as we're on Stitcher, and we are on iTunes. So Saints News Radio and the whole network is all over the place. We are canvassing it from here to far, from how Bob Ferrer says it, from the West Bank to the East Bank, the New Orleans connection, Crescent City connection, so I like how he says that when he gives the traffic report on WWL. All right, guys, thank you very much. You can follow Saints News on saintsnews.net, as well as you can follow us on Facebook at Saints News, as well as on Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest at Saints News. This is Kyle T. Mosley with Barry Hurstris of the Big Easy Believer, as well as Coach Rick Gailey from Sports NOLA and the Three Tailgaters, and the Professor Derek Craig Stevens from the Professor Speaks and Saints News Radio. So Kyle T. Mosley is out, as well as the fellas. Let's have a great game and look for my reports on the Saints from training camp with their team practice on tomorrow. Thank you very much. Take care and have a great evening.
And call